Hey guys, it's Alex Raleigh. What's up? Welcome back to an episode of Ask Alec. Got an awesome guest, Ivo, on the show today. Super excited to have this conversation. Got some cool questions coming your way. What's up, Ivo? Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it. What can I help with, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what's your question?
Yeah, well, I'm playing poker for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Small five, and I'm really looking to step up my game. So I've been hanging around the same level, and I'm planning to going full time in one and a half years from now when I finish school, and by then I want to be as good in poker as I possibly can be. So then I hoping that poker will give me the opportunity to travel a lot and just be free, play poker, travel, and I'm hoping that you can help me with that.
Yeah. So what's your question specifically? You want to travel in 1.5 years when you're done with school. You want to save up money, play poker. You want to play full time. What are you struggling with that I could help with now?
Well, specifically my bankroll management. It's not that great. So, in the past I was like the deposit on party poker, let's say, and if it was $20, I would play with that and make it 50, move up a game, and play until I lose my money. So my question now is, if we want to start to play seriously, so with what amount of money should I start playing, and with what percentage of that amount should I hit the tables?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. You know you shouldn't be playing with 100% of the money that you have for your bankroll, no matter what it is. So I don't care if your bankroll is $2 or 200,000. If it's all you have, you don't put it all on the line. So, if you have 20, you can't play with 20. If you have 2,000, you can't play with 2,000. But it doesn't really matter what. I mean, obviously it matters. The bigger your bankroll is, the more options you have, and the more you can leverage that to increase your bankroll even further, and maybe you can provide a better lifestyle for yourself. But it doesn't really matter. Like, you asked me, like, what bankroll should I start with? Start with $1 million. I don't know. That would be great. But what do you have is the real question. And how much can you realistically set aside to poker? And then do you have and all of this doesn't matter, 1 ounce if you're not going to adhere to proper bankroll management practices. So I would say you should start with 0 if you're not going to manage your money properly, because you're going to end with 0 unless you manage your money properly. So, I wouldn't even start unless you have a system. And I would recommend you go to alexraleigh.com, download my financial management spreadsheet. It's totally free. It'll help you track all of your expenses. So all the money that you spend in your personal life on a daily basis, it's a system that'll help you track that. It'll also help you get some goals down on paper that you want to achieve with the money that you have, right? So however much money you have coming in, or you're making, or you're getting from your job or wherever, every month, it'll help you utilize that money in a way that helps you create a lifestyle that you really want, right? Whether that means playing more poker in your free time is up to you. So that's the first thing I would do. I'd really recommend tracking every dollar you spend. Now, I have a system and sheet that makes it easy for you. You can download for free. If you want to do it in Excel and create your own system, fine. But what's really important is that you actually do it. Because that'll really help you. Because what's really happening when you're not managing your money properly is you have a lack of respect for the money. And when you track every dollar you spend, it really gives you a deeper respect for the money that you're making, because you actually see where it's going. And, you start saving small amounts of money here and there, which add up. And when you see that money is being utilized towards something that you actually give a fuck about, which might be poker, might be a different goal that you have, might be something else you want to do, might be a trip you've always wanted to take, might be something you wanted to buy, you start to have a reason to make sacrifices. And that's what you're doing when you're playing within your bankroll. You're making sacrifice because you want that instant gratification of I have $50. I want to play with 50 to get it to 100. You want that stimulation.
Yeah.
What you're doing every time you're adhering to bankroll management is you're making, a small short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. And when you see that there's a reason to do that, it suddenly becomes easier. So I would really figure out what you're playing poker for in the first place. And, what you're really hoping to get out of the game, what lifestyle you want to create for yourself, whatever it is that you want to do. And then once you go through this bankroll, this financial system that I created or that you do on your own, you're going to realize how much money that you're making every month, how much money you're spending, how much money you're saving, how much you have left over. And then you can tell me, Alec, I have $2,000 to play poker with.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, okay, great.
That will be a real use. Well, but it's like, I guess it won't be any use to deposit like 40 and play at the 5-10 cents blind, because it doesn't improve my game. I can't play how I want to play, because it's just you're playing with $10 and the guys you're playing against, you can't really take them seriously. It's just so maybe I should save up a little more. So,
yes. Yeah. Why not? Be patient. What I would do is, put all that money that you want to play with into a fund. And when it gets to X amount, whatever that is, let's say 1,000, then you take all of that, and now that's your poker bankroll. And now you can use that to play. So you could start playing games where the buy-in is higher, like $25, $50, So you can start playing games where the buy-in is higher, that it actually matters. People take it seriously. There's a little bit more competition. It's more exciting. It's more stimulating. It's worth your hourly rate. It's worth your time to play poker, right? So in the beginning, I wouldn't be dedicating my time to poker when I'm playing with $10 because it's not worth my time. What I would be doing is investing my time to make more money at something that gives me a higher hourly rate than poker. I'd be studying poker in my free time to get better so that my hourly when I play poker will be higher. But and there's plenty of content and videos you can use to study poker in the meantime, both for free and paid content. But what I would be doing is studying poker in my free time and then using my hourly rate to make money at a job to get myself, back into a situation where I can, play poker where my hourly in the game is as high or higher than my job, right? Or close to it. So that's what I would be doing. I would set a goal that I wanted to start poker with. So whatever that goal is that's reasonable for you, where it makes sense for you in your life, that's realistic, ambitious goal, but not impossible, right? So maybe like a month-long, 2-month, 3-month goal, short-term goal that you can realistically set aside this amount of money to play poker. After you've gone through the exercises, after you've mapped out how much your lifestyle costs every month, after you've set aside the money that you need to live on, what's left over, you save that for a month, 2 months, 3 months, compile it all together into a separate bank account that you don't touch. And when it's time, when that number hits a certain benchmark, which, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, depending on, the situation you're in or whoever else is watching is in, then you launch, you launch your business, you launch your poker playing with that amount of money. And then you adhere your bankroll management principles to that amount of money. So if it's 1,000, you say, okay, I'm never going to play with, more than, 2%, 5% of my bankroll in any one game. And you use that percentage system regardless of how big your bankroll is, right? So if it's 100,000 or 1,000, it's the same principle, right? You only want to risk a couple percent of your bankroll in any one game so that you're never overextending yourself, right? You're never worried about going bust. Now, if you're playing online poker, you have to be more conservative because the variance is higher. If you're playing live poker, you can be more aggressive because your win rate is bigger and your variance will be lower. So a lot of it depends on what games you're playing and exactly how much your variance is and your playing style, etc.
Yeah, is there also a difference in the buy-in in live and online poker? Do you play at higher stakes live and then you play online?
Yeah, for sure, because the games online are much more difficult. Right? So the games live are much easier. Your win rate is higher, and your variance is lower. It seems like your variance is higher live because you play less hands, but the truth is, your win rate live is going to be something like, if you're a good player, it's going to be like 40 big blinds per 100 hands. Or no, it's going to be 10 big blinds per hour, so like 30 big blinds per 100 hands. And online, it's going to be something like 2 or 3 big blinds per 100 hands. So your win rate live is going to be like 10 times higher than your win rate online, which means that, yes, you're playing less hands, but your variance is going to be way lower. Like at the end of the, online, it's going to take, 100,000 hands to reach a sample size that's reasonable for you to understand whether or not you're reaching the long term. But on live poker, it's not going to take that many hands. It's going to take, a month or 2 months or 3 months at the most. But that, that's not that many hands. You could play a couple thousand hands live poker, and you're not going to be a losing player after that many hands if you're winning, if you're crushing the games with the win rates that we just talked about. So live poker makes more sense to take bigger risks because, first of all, there aren't smaller games, right? There's no game smaller than 1-2. So it's not like you can even play 5 cent, 10 cent, or 50 cent dollar. But also, you're only playing one table. So to make up for your hourly and to compensate for the rake, you have to play higher stakes. Otherwise, it's not worth your time, right? You don't get to play 4 tables of 10 cent, 25 cent. And that's the equivalent of playing higher stakes because you're playing so many tables. You don't get to multiply your hourly by 4 or 6 or 8 or however many tables you're playing. You're only playing one table. And so you have to play higher stakes for it to even be worth your time and to make sense.
Yeah. So do you suggest playing on multiple tables online or just at one?
Well, you should play on as many tables as you can play on where you're still improving your game, right? So like if you're playing for your hourly, you want to play on a lot of tables, right? Some people play, in the past, people played 8, 12, 16 tables, right?
Yeah.
And they're just on robotic mode, just playing top 10% of hands and just, standard poker, right? Just not even thinking about decisions. But if you really want, the game of online poker has changed. It's got a lot more difficult. And so, from an EV standpoint, I would recommend playing less tables, but also even back in the day when you could still win back in the day, a couple of years ago when you could still win more easily playing more tables, what you're hindering yourself from doing when you play that many tables is learning. So you can't learn anything when you're playing 10 tables of online poker because you don't have time to think through the depth of each decision. And yes, you can review the hands afterwards and study afterwards, and I think you should do that regardless of how many tables you play. But I think it's also good to be learning and thinking through spots while you're playing. And so I would recommend playing an amount of tables where you could pay attention to the players and the subtleties of each table. That's probably going to be 2 or 3, maximum 4.
Well, for now, it's for me 1.
1. That's great. Respect.
Yeah. Well, maybe 2, but then I would have. Yeah, I have to have 100% focus on the players.
Totally. That's why I said a maximum of that. But I think also, if you're playing these few of tables, you definitely want to be saving that bankroll ahead of time so that you can play higher stakes when you sit down, so that it's worth your time. If you're going to play one table of 5 cent, 10 cent, that's pretty tough to do mentally, to play well.
Yeah, that's what why I want to save up some first. Well, you
need to play with an amount of money that hurts if you lose, but you still care about, right? You don't care enough. You have enough indifference that you can play well, but you care enough that it hurts when you lose. That's the sweet spot you need to be in. And you need to define what that is for you. Obviously you need to be a winner in the games and be able to win, but that's separate.
Yeah. Well, I find live poker is I feel like it's way more my thing, because as I said to you in the mail, I can play at the 2-4 with not with each, but I'm just a regular, But at
Totally.
25, 50 cents online, I'm struggling. But it's also my patience.
Why don't you just play live then? Why don't you just forget online and just play live?
Well, I tried, but if I want to play live, I have to drive for an hour, and it doesn't really come up much. So I really want to play more live, but it's not really possible at the most 1 time per week. So and I want to play more.
Maybe you could somehow find a way to increase that to 2 by moving your school or job schedule around a little bit next semester or depending on your summer job, or maybe you have summertime and whatever, where you could increase that amount of time that you're playing to 2 times a week or even 3 times a week in the summer. And that could be something that you could plan for now, right? Now it's February, March. You can be like, you know what? I'm going to just save up until summer and go all in on poker during summer. And, you could start saving now, and that could be your plan. So maybe that'll be your 3-month plan, right? Where you're like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother playing online. I'm going to focus on school and study my ass off, both for poker and for school. And when summer comes around, I'm going to go all in on poker and just play, as many times a week as I can. Or I'm going to, like someone else I just talked to in a different episode of Ask Alec, he drives for Lyft, which gives him flexibility to work when he wants, and then he could play poker on his free time. So maybe you could do something like that where, you're working a couple hours a week here and there to make money, pay the bills, and give you flexibility. And then you're playing poker with more of your time when it's more suitable when you don't have school.
Yeah. I feel like it's necessary to be able to play online if I really want to make it.
Sure.
To reach my goals. And I
you
think
want to play online to learn, to be better, to get better, to learn fundamentals.
I'm going to try. And it's really a matter of personal insight, controlling myself. And when it comes to the game, I'm able to play online. But I really need to control myself and manage my bankroll properly. And if I can do that, I will be able to play online, and I want to learn that. So.
You said it, man. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So you know what you need to do. It's just, are you going to execute? Are you going to be patient? I think the biggest problem that you have right now is patience. You're young. What are you, 23, 25?
No, 19.
19? Fuck, you're so young. But like your impatience is going to be what costs you your opportunity in your career. It's just wanting everything today. Whereas, you're 10 years younger than me or more. Just be patient, man. Shit,
I think that's
much time.
That's a big difference for me in between live and online. If I'm live, you can chat. There's more. I feel more pressure when I'm in a hand, so I won't enter it that easily. But online, it's just, I'm bored and I'm playing like sometimes over 50%, and it's not.
I think you should stay away from online. You also have to know your skill set and your limits, and online just might not be your game, at least not right now. Maybe you have to work up to, testing out your patience in the live setting and, getting a little bit more of a respect for money in your bankroll, and then come back to online poker. But I think if you make a sacrifice and save up for 3 months and you say, you know what, I'm going to save until my bankroll gets to X and no poker until it gets there, I think you're going to notice you have more patience when you have more respect for that money that you worked your ass off to save for. You're not going to just want to punt it away.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's a good tip.
You're going to be fine, man. Patience, man. You're young. You got all the time in the world.
Well, thanks. But that's nicely to my second question. I'm planning to play poker full time for a year. If I'm going great, I can extend that. Is that an option, or do you say like, if you got the right mentality, you're all in on poker, or you can say I'm playing for a year?
No, totally. I think that's a really smart goal. I actually recommend when people decide they want to play full time that they set a specific amount of time that they want to test it out for. And so I think a year is plenty of time. 6 months is even enough time where you're like, I'm going to, you're not going all in the rest of your life. That's ridiculous. You're just saying, I'm going to test this business plan out. I have my money in line. I know exactly what my expenses are. I know my overhead. I set money aside that I'm going to live on so that all my money that I'm using for poker is in a dedicated bankroll that's separate. And you know what? I'm just going to play for a year and test this out. If at the end of a year or at the end of 6 months, if I'm not where I want to be, I'm going to call it quits. And if I am, I'm going to keep going. That's what I did. And it worked well for me. I never turned back, but it went how I expected it to go, or I wanted it to go, or believed it could go. And so I continued, right? But it was always like, I have these benchmarks that I'm trying to reach. Otherwise, who am I kidding, right? If I'm not gonna, you can't just say I'm going to do something for the next 5 years. So I think a year is a real reasonable goal. you should stick to that. I would even stretch you to say 6 months to force yourself to really buckle down and not waste time.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome, man. This is good stuff. You're going to be fine, man. Just for you, the biggest thing is just to have patience, man. Like, save up. Don't worry. You're so young. You're like one of the youngest people I talk to, and you have so much time to.
Oh, well, you started at 19 too, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I'm still young, right? I'm 30. It's like I still have a ton of time, So it's like, and I had fun in my 20s. I traveled around. I did this and that, and like lived in a bunch of different countries. I visited 40 countries, and so.
Right, that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to like have all the like. If I could go back to your age and tell myself one thing, it would just be to be more patient. Just like not want everything today or tomorrow. Because the times that I cost myself the most money playing was like, trying to chase losses or playing games I shouldn't have been playing or play when I shouldn't be playing or not take a day off when I should. And like, those are the things that cost me so much time and stress and money and patience, man. That's it. That's the game for you. I feel like that should be your word of the year.
Patience. Yeah.
There you go. You said it. Awesome, man. You're going to be fine, bro.
Oh, I hope. Yeah. So,
all right, let's call it there.
Sorry?
I said, let's call it there. You got everything you need. You know what you need to do. You just got to go and execute.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to save up now. I think
that's it.
Like 500 and then, I really want to be able to play properly online. So I think like save up to 500 and then play at 25.
Fine. 500 is enough. 1,000, say 500. And then while you're starting to play, you're still saving on the side, so you're adding money every month to that bankroll so that it's growing. That's a really smart strategy.
So are you actually building up a pension or how? Because there's no, when you play poker, you don't have a real job. So you're not building up anything for later, let's say. So are you saving up?
No, absolutely. That's like one of the first things I recommend everyone do is like, no matter how much you make, 20%, you take off the top and apply to your retirement account, like a Roth IRA or a SEP IRA or 401k, whatever it is, you figure out what program works the best for you and you put money into a retirement account so that when you're 50, 60, you are set. That's just like basic. That's just like absolute fundamental mandatory in my opinion. So absolutely. That was highly what I would recommend doing. If you get a summer job, I would say like the first 20% you make, you take out, put towards retirement, you live on the rest and whatever's left over, using those expense calculators I told you about, you just save up and use that to fund your bankroll. But the first thing you do is save. Otherwise, you're gonna be broke. So that's like the first thing you should do.
Where do I find your bankroll managing stuff?
AlecTrelli.com. It's on AlecTrelli.com/blog. It's on the right sidebar. It's free. You just opt in, and I'll send you an email with all the stuff. So it'll really help you. I think it'll really help. Like, nobody that's gone through the exercise that doesn't track their finances already hasn't been like, oh my gosh, I'm spending money somewhere where I totally don't need to be, or I should spend more money here. I should spend less here. Or, these goals really help, get me focused on what I want to do. And I think for you in your spot, it'll help in particular, especially bankroll management, something you're struggling with. So.
Oh, nice.
Awesome, man.
Sorry for the bad pronouncing, but
dude, your English is great. Don't even sweat it.
Yeah. Okay.
Where are you from, by the way?
Sorry?
Where are you from?
Netherlands. Well, it was in my letter, but can't blame you.
Awesome. Netherlands. That's right. I love the Netherlands. It's a great place. Yeah, your English is great. They speak really well there, but your English is great too.
Oh, nice. So, and
for sure, man.
The places that are there a lot of cities you can go to and play daily, or are they limited like Vegas, Macau, and another handful?
Yeah, I mean, there's a decent amount of cities around Europe, especially. I mean, you're in the Netherlands, so the UK, Spain, Germany, Switzerland has poker. Austria has poker. There's quite a few places you can go and play, but I mean, obviously not everywhere, right? So,
yeah. But I don't think, like the casino where I go to, there's only from 8 p.m. I guess, you know, in the evening.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of places are limited, and you know, finding places to play live poker is a struggle for some people. So, yeah, that's kind of a little bit of luck in the sense that, you know, do you live near a casino? Like, are you born near a place where there's poker? Do you live near a place where there's poker? That's a little bit of luck. So, for example, in Italy, where I spend some of my time, there are no casinos. So it is what it is.
You only play online.
Yeah, so you can't play live poker in it, you know. So it's just part of it is just, you know, it's just part of the game. But you're lucky that a casino is an hour away. That's not that bad. So you should be able to find time to play in summer for sure, man.
Traveling times are real different in the, you know, an hour drive in the Netherlands is a lot. You know, you can go half cross country.
Yeah, whatever. Listen to a podcast.
No, I get you. An hour is all right. So,
yeah, could be worse.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man. This has been awesome. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it for Ask Alec. I want to thank everyone for joining the show. If you want to be on the show, you have a question you want to ask me, you think you'd be a great candidate for the show, head over to consciouspoker.com, click on contact, and submit your question. I'll pick the best ones and get you guys a chance to be on the show as well. Thanks, you guys, so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.